Jesus, would he be a conservative or a liberal today? Welcome aboard. All right, so here's the idea, Jeremy. I asked ChatGPT for 10 topics where conservatives and liberals disagree, and we want to see where Jesus might stand on these 10 issues. Would he be a conservative or a liberal? All right, our first topic is going to be abortion. Nothing controversial. What do you think?
Absolutely, he would be against it. I don't see any point where he would be for abortion with the extreme circumstances of health and things like
Yeah,
that.
like
I mean,
a tubal a
yeah,
tubal pregnancy or something like that, where
yeah,
the life of the mother I do get that because if the mom's gonna die from a tubal pregnancy, you have to save the mom's life because otherwise they both die. So I do understand that.
yeah. No, I mean, obviously, and things are a lot more complicated. I'm always the first to say that you can't use yesterday. You can't make yesterday's decisions with today's eyes, and so things are a bit more complicated nowadays. But I think Jesus would definitely draw the line at, oh, you had a wild party. Oh,
Well, no, they did have, abortions back then.
they
People
did,
did
they
they
did.
used a stick and things like that, which was very unhealthy, very dangerous. A lot of people died doing that. I just can't see Jesus saying, "Hey, you know what? Rip that sucker out."
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I just don't see I'm Jewish, and I could say, "Hey, I'm not Christian at all," but I just don't see Jesus saying, "Yeah, abortion, good thing." So, all right. So on abortion, I think Jesus would be more conservative.
Yes, for sure. For
Okay.
sure.
The next one, something else not controversial, gun control.
Yes. This one, I am absolutely convinced Jesus would be for bearing arms or having firearms and whatnot. He would not be for gun violence, but he would be for defense. And that's just because, I mean, you look in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 22, verse 36. But now, if you have a purse, take it, and also a bag. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. And that was where he was preparing the disciples for the persecution, the discontent that was going to be coming, and telling them, you've got to hold fast to your convictions. So I really do believe Jesus would certainly be on the side of you have a right to protect yourself any means possible.
See, I'm Jewish, but I'm going to go for a controversial stance on this because there's a verse in the New Testament I think is completely and utterly misinterpreted. There's a verse, and I'm not quoting it, but I'm giving you the basic idea, where Jesus says, if you are slapped on one cheek, give them the other. And back in the day, if a noble came along and slapped somebody on one cheek, say a servant, he is basically telling you, I'm superior to you. But if he slapped you on both cheeks, that meant you were his equal and that he considered you his equal. So a lot of people have said, oh, Jesus said, if you get slapped on one cheek, give him the other, basically being passive. I'll take the pain, I'll take the hurt. Really, the way I would interpret that is he's saying, hey, wait a second. No, you know what? I'm your equal. I'm going to stand up to you and say, you can't push me around because I am your equal. So I really think it's the opposite of many people's conventional wisdom.
But with that being the case, I mean, just to delve into that world, um, if the aggressor, the person who slapped you, you're offering them another cheek, you're saying, no, I have an equal right to be aggressively defensive.
Defensive, yeah.
Yeah.
At no point do I ever interpret that as go out and be the aggressor.
Yeah. So in that case, I think he would absolutely be against gun control. He would say you're allowed to defend your home and your family and your beliefs in any means necessary.
I agree. So
Yeah.
on that one, I think we both are saying
He's a,
Jesus would be a conservative.
he would have conservative views on that, yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're 2 for 2. All right, the third one, and this gets a little complicated because it wasn't an issue back then, climate change and energy policy.
I think Jesus would take the absolute stand of, wow, that's really cool. You can flick a light switch and something turns on.
Y you know,
You mean I don't have to strike two sticks or two flint and steel together,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah. It's a difficult one. You're right because SoCal Edison was not around when Jesus was around.
yeah. I think, to be honest, this would be he isn't portrayed as this ever, but I think there are times where Jesus would just look at somebody and just laugh. And I think climate change and energy policy would be those where he would just be like, there are so many other things in this world that you should be worrying about before you worry about that.
Well, I would think, and I don't think the environment really was ever talked about by Jesus. I could be wrong, Jewish guy here. But when it comes to climate change, I would say Jesus would be against pollution. I think most people are against pollution, but I don't think it really ever came up. So I think this one's a little bit like it's a draw. This is the one thing I'm thinking in the Torah, which is the Jewish
Yep.
Bible, what you guys call the Old Testament. God gives humans dominion over the earth. We name the animals.
Yes.
We are in charge of it all. So, being that we are the steward, we should take care of it. Now,
Yes.
yeah, so we shouldn't destroy it, but that does not mean we can't use the resources in a responsible way.
That's right. And keep in mind, I mean, we've talked about this before, but there have been multiple ice ages, which means there also has to be multiple thaw ages. And we weren't even alive for any of the major ice ages. And we've done ice core testing, and the CO2 levels were way higher back then than we have ever hit as humans. So I think, as George Carlin says, we're more of a surface nuisance to the Earth
Oh,
than we
absolutely.
are a threat to the Earth.
All right, so I'm saying that one we're basically 2 to 0 to 1. I think that one's kind of a draw.
I don't think I think you almost have to throw that one out of the
Yeah.
mix.
Thanks, ChatGPT. All right, next one. Healthcare.
Mm.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I feel that Jesus would be for healthcare in the sense that he would expect people to take care of themselves, families to take care of themselves and each other. Uh, Temples, synagogues, churches all would take care of themselves,
Well,
take
see,
care of their parishioners. But I also believe that Jesus would say that when all that falls down, or maybe even through that, that governments, Caesar, would take care of the people who absolutely could not. But he would expect you to try yourself first.
this is kind of the way I look at it. The left really wants quote unquote free healthcare for everybody. The state should take care of everybody. Whereas in conservatives are like, well, people have to take care of themselves. And here's where I think Jesus, in a weird way, kind of goes in a different conventional wisdom because Jesus went out and cured the sick, and he healed people who were not healthy. I mean, for Lazarus, he raised him from the dead, and Jesus did that all for free. He didn't charge for it. But here's the thing, Jesus had the magical powers. Your average doctor, Dr. Shapinsky, does not he did not go to Hogwarts. He did not wave a wand and go Helios Maximus. Healthcare does cost money. Now, back in the old days, when somebody in the church or the synagogue could not afford healthcare, the community would chip in and help
Absolutely.
that person out.
Absolutely.
But I don't think that Jesus is very much a, hey, the government should run everything kind of person.
No, no. I think he's very much you help yourself, you take care of your family.
And you
And
help
then,
others when you
yes,
can.
absolutely.
You help it.
Absolutely.
So where would you go, liberal or conservative on healthcare?
Moderate?
I go right of center. I
Yeah,
definitely on the
yeah, yeah.
conservative
I mean,
side.
I mean, if you're gonna draw a hard line, he'd have to be on the right. But I don't
Well,
think he's so far right that he couldn't dip his toes on the left
oh,
ideas a few
I don't
times.
think he'd be the guy that said, "Look, your neighbor's dying.
Yeah,
Forget him." I
yeah,
think, hey, you have to do your best to help out other people,
yeah.
but that doesn't mean the government steps in. Because at no point do I remember any line from Jesus saying, "Hey, the government's the end all be all."
No, no.
So I'm going conservative on this. Okay.
Yeah, moderate conservative.
All right. So we're 3 conservative, 1 draw. All right. The next one, taxes. What do you think?
I definitely believe Jesus was for taxes, but not a heavily taxed people, if that makes sense. We used the term earlier, Reaganite.
Yeah.
I think Jesus would be a Reaganite. He'd recognize you had to have a government. You had to have this governing body, and this governing body does have to collect some money. It has to, if you're going to work 40 hours a week for somebody, they have to be able to pay you. But I think he would think it needs to be as small as possible. It needs to be as focused on its job as possible.
Here's what I'm thinking, because Jesus did have a line in the New Testament talking about taxes. He said, "Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, give unto God what is God's." So I don't think Jesus was against taxes per se. He's saying, "Hey, you do need to pay your taxes." Now, at no point, though, do I think he believed that the government is the end all be all. Hey, you got to give to government what is theirs, but you have a religious duty to kind of help each other out as an individual. So I would say on this issue, Jesus is a conservative.
Yeah, I would. And I mean, it's kind of a stretch, but I mean, you look at religion, and I mean, we ask people to tithe.
Absolutely. By
So
the way, you know what else we ask people to do?
to tithe to our channel.
And you know what? We've got a surprise. Our first goal is to hit 50 people. We've only been around about 2.5 months.
Yep. Yep.
We are at 49 people. It usually takes 4 to 6 months to get there. We are on the doorstep of 50 people. So if you like what we're doing, reach down, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
And click that notification bell.
And you know what else we'd love to do?
I'd love it if people would comment.
Oh, that too.
I
Please
love a
comment.
debate.
Absolutely. And we've had people say they agreed with us. We had people say they disagree with us. But the other thing we'd love you to do, we have a sponsor. They've been very kind to us. We're a small channel. They're helping us out. They're conservative. Here's Conservative Peaches.
In a world gone wild, one fruit stands firm. We are conservative peaches. We don't put pronouns on our peaches. Out here, we do not experiment with our fruit. We just grow it the way God and Reagan intended. Our soil identifies as fertile. These are not your avocado toast, oat milk, coastal elite peaches. These are hardworking, tax-paying, church-going, freedom-loving peaches, picked at the peak of American greatness. Each peach comes with a pocket constitution and a firm handshake. We do not believe in canceling crops. We believe in cultivating values and vitamin C. Every peach we grow is blessed by the sun and occasionally by Pastor Rick or Rabbi Shmuley, while the rest of the country's going bananas. We are staying peachy. You want a peach that stands for the flag, not one that kneels during the anthem. We will not use pesticides with names we can't pronounce, just good old-fashioned elbow grease, sunshine, and a little bit of suspicion toward big government. Our peaches do not need safe spaces. They ripen on the front lines of summer. So if you are tired of the fruit aisle looking like a gender studies classroom, grab a peach that still believes in borders, barbecue, and biblical values. Conservative peaches, because liberals are bananas. Conservative peaches, peachin' with pride. Conservative Peaches is proud to sponsor teachers and train stations. Conservative Peaches is not a real sponsor nor a real company, but it's funny as hell, at least to us. Please do not sue us. We can barely afford pencils. We are teachers and train stations. Welcome aboard. Now, reach on down and hit that like and subscribe button, especially if we made you smile. And with that, this sponsor will see you at the next stop. But for now, back to teachers and train stations.
That was a pretty good ad. It was actually better than the peaches we had for breakfast today.
We did have some peaches at breakfast today.
So those were actually really good peaches.
All right, so we're now at 5-0 and then I'm sorry. We are now at 4 conservative issues, 1-0 and 1 draw. So we're 4-0 and 1.
There you go.
And we're going to make this a part 1. There'll be a part 2.
And with that, we'll see you at the next stop.